Good evening and a warm welcome to yet another episode of Meet My Gems. Meet My Gems is an interactive approach by our beloved and respected Sir Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal. Sir, who himself was an aspirant of the West Bengal Judicial Service Examination 1999 and who secured a top rank, has chosen the noble profession of teaching as his passion guided him to this noble cause. He is currently the head of the postgraduate department of of Law of Hooghly Mohsin College. Formerly, he has also served as a faculty of the National University of Juridical Sciences. He is also the visiting faculty of the National Law Academy of the Honorable Supreme Court and the State Judicial Academy of the Honorable High Court at Calcutta. I am sure his teachings has inspired a lot of students and has helped them to understand the very essence of law and its potential. Now, I would like to pass on to Sir, who himself was a judicial officer, to enlighten us on the objective of arranging this kind of interactive session.
Thank you, Priyanka. So, uh, good afternoon, Piyu. So, today's gem in Meet My Gem series is Piyu Das. Piyu had completed her LLB from the Government College of Bombay, which is a prestigious college and which boasts of most of the illustrious alumni which adore the bar and the bench of the Supreme Court, the likes of Nane Palkiwala, Harish Salve, and who not. So Pew has secured the third rank in West Bengal Judicial Service 2020. Today we'll showcase the success story of Pew. Priyanka, through her series of inquisitive or insightful questions, will reveal the secret of success of Pew, which will benefit the aspirants of West Bengal Judicial Service and other competitive examinations. Priyanka, you may begin now.
Now, I would like to welcome Madam Piyu Das, who has secured the rank third in the West Bengal Judicial Service Examination 2020. Ma'am, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, good evening.
Ma'am, we are very much delighted to have you on board with us in this session.
Thank you.
Now, with your kind permission and on behalf of all the judicial aspirants, I would like to ask you some questions relating to the preparation of the judicial service examination.
Yes, sure.
My maiden question will be how life changes after becoming a judicial officer, as it is a huge achievement and a huge responsibility in one's shoulder.
So I will say we are yet to take that responsibility, but once the result comes out, it together with it, it brings a lot of responsibility because you will be going to serve a very big social cause. You will have a contribution towards society, so it brings a lot of responsibility towards you, and you start implementing the same in your lifestyle as well, even if you have time to join the service.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, there is a popular saying the meaning of life is to give life a meaning. So, my next question in this context will be when do you wanted to become a judge and what person or incident inspired you to become a judge?
So when I was in class 8 standard, I have been to the district court and for some first class magistrate, we had some work with the first class magistrate. So and that time I just saw the courtroom for the very first time, and I don't know that day it fascinated me a lot. I felt that I want to be here, and from that day I started my research that how are the procedure to be here, And yes, from that day onwards, my journey started, and today it is for as.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, there is a saying that well begun is half done. So, my question is, when did you start your preparation for your exam?
So I had a plan once I had started my LLB. I wanted to do it, but after I finished my LLB, I started preparing for judicial services. But not, I could not devote my complete time because I was already doing my LLM side by side. But yes, from 2018 onwards, I have started my proper preparation for judicial service.
Thank you, ma'am, for your answer. We have all heard that a good teacher explains, but a great teacher inspires. In this context, tell us about the role of your mentor in your journey of becoming a judicial officer.
So for me, the concept of mentor is a bit different because I feel your mentor need not be always from the like field of your subject or because his job is to in the total process is to inspire you and guide you throughout the process. So I have two, and first I'll mention the person from my family, that is my brother. He has been my constant guide. Though he was not a person from law, so he helped me as much as possible through the moral support. But yeah, from the side of law, I'll surely thank you, Prem Agarwal sir, because he helped me a lot during the process of interview and for practicing for the mock interview and all. So I feel you can have both, and it's very important. Your mentor play a very important role throughout the journey because they are the one who boost your moral support.
Thank you, ma'am, for your answer. Now, we will move towards the question relating to preparation part and the strategy for becoming the judicial officer. And in this regard, my question to you will be what things one needs to consider when choosing his optional subjects, and kindly let us know what were the three optional subjects you chose and the rationale or logic behind those choices.
So here I have a different view. I feel optional subjects are given because so that you can get a bit of relaxed feeling from those compulsory subjects because you have no option for that. You have to study those. So for optional subjects, I feel you should go for those subjects which have your interest, your area of interest, and you love to study those subjects. You should take it accordingly, and that should be the main logic and rationale behind choosing a optional subject. For example, if you are good in sections, then you should take Hindu law because not Muslim law, because Muslim law is not codified. If you are good with section, you shall go for Hindu law. So that is the thing I feel should be taken into consideration, your own interest. And for me, it was constitutional law and Hindu law and partnership. So, as I have taken constitutional law, it is a very vast subject, but only my interest and my love for that subject has guided me throughout the process. So, yes, that is the one reason I feel that yes, if you choose your area of interest and you give your time to that particular subject, it will bring success to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of aspirants. Now, my next question is enlighten us about the books and bare acts and study materials for different subjects that you opted.
So I feel there shall be a different type of approach for different subjects. For example, contract and tort, and their IPC and CRPC, they are very vast subjects, but having a very less weightage of only 50 marks. So I feel you should always think from exam point of perspective, and also you should think about the marks. So that is why I will say that the concept should be clear. The concept clearance, you should not negotiate with the concept clearance part. You should be clear with all your concept. But while you are preparing and giving time to your each and every subject, then you can decide upon your marks also, that how much time you want to give. And for books, there are very important books. Some I feel, for example, CPC Takwani's book is a very important book. For evidence, Batuklal's book is a very important book. So these are the books which are normally unknown to us from the college days. And other than this, I have gone for Samarth Agarwal's book. which is a for the prelims also. For his Ready Reckoner, I find a very good book. And also for his mains, there were 3 volumes available. I find that book very helpful, and it helped me a lot as well.
Thank you, ma'am. This is indeed a very good insight to all the judiciary aspirants. Now, ma'am, I would like to ask you, since last year we were in the mid of a pandemic, how did you utilize your time during that pandemic without being demotivated and with the uncertainties that came across with the pandemic?
So from the very beginning, if I have to say, this worked a lot in my favor because I am pursuing my PhD, and that is also a full-time PhD in an institution of IIT Kharagpur. So once this pandemic started, we are sent back home. So yes, I was there in the comfort of the home. For the first 2 months, it was a bit disturbing how things will change and all. But once the in the month of July, the notification came, then onwards, I thought it is a very good opportunity to work for it because all the time you're staying at home, you're not supposed to go out, and you can devote the time to only your studies. And I felt this is the very big time because you will be not asked by any person to step out of your house for anything. So I felt this is a very good time to utilize, and I really thank this period for. I think this made a lot contribution for my devotion in the studies. So I have used it a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, did you have a separate strategy for the prelims and the mains?
Yes, for somehow you can say that I had a separate strategy because I later on learned the fact that keep preparing for mains will be enough, even that will help you for prelims as well. But I have a different prelims note as well as a different mains note. So for prelims, I have concentrated upon sections. I have revised all the question papers, past question papers, and I have seen they have a lot of questions coming up from sections. So I have listed down sections and the importance of it and how I can remember it. So I have seen this has helped me a lot because I have scored most of the answers good in sections only because those are correct. So that is the thing I felt is a good strategy for prelims and mains.
Thank you, ma'am. This is surely going to help all the aspirants out there. Now, ma'am, as we know that there are a total of 70 marks devoted to the paper of English and GK in the prelims. So, how did you prepare for those papers? As
So
it is, as it is a huge marks is devoted to those paper.
yes, I agree that it is a huge marks devoted to those paper. But once I started preparing for prelims, once the notification for prelims came, so I understood I won't be able to give as much as time to that particular area. So I gave my maximum time. Maximum means almost 90% time to the law because with that is 130 marks, and I felt that is a sure shot on questions because most of the questions are section based. So I felt that can be scored well, so that is what I did. And for yes, I did a bit of GK and current affairs from the newspapers. And because in our time the exam were in the month of October, so we were having an idea that there may be questions from COVID-19 related. So there were 3 4 questions also. Those were also beneficial for us. So yes, only that much, nothing much for the GK and current affairs. I feel if you give your time to law, that's 130 marks to tell, and also preparation for the past question papers. So you must try all the question paper you shall solve and see that whether you can cross the cutoff of the last year. So I felt that is another good strategy. So that is given to by my seniors, me by my seniors, and so yes, I have tried. I should be in a limit of 20 marks more from the cutoff. So that was the whole strategy for it.
Thank you, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, as you said that you solved the past year's paper, what do you think that what is the importance of the past year papers in the whole preparation phase? Does it boost both the prelims and mains preparation? And solving the papers, does it really help the aspirants to get an idea about how the questions are set in the examination?
Yes, past year question papers are very, very important because for prelims, I would say first, because in prelims for the past year question papers, when you go through, you can discover a strategy. If you compare 2 years question paper, you can find like there are so many questions from sections. They are asking this, for example, limitation. They asked from article as well, so you can figure out which articles they are going for. So you have to think from that perspective. For example, limitation is a very small subject, but it has 20 marks. Where CRPC is such a vast subject, it has only 10 marks. So you have to have that kind of idea that how you have to figure it out. So that is good for that only gives you the that idea only you get from the past year question paper. That is for prelims. But for mains, I will say past year question paper plays a different role because for vast questions like for 10 marks or 15 marks or 12 marks questions, there are some questions only available possible actually from a particular subject, and that you will be getting in the past year question paper. So either you will get those type of questions or somehow it is just here and there from that particular question, nothing else. So I feel past year question paper plays a very important role and you must see to it because that will boost your confidence once you know that you know the answer of that particular question.
Thank you, ma'am. This is surely going to help all the aspirants. Now, ma'am, often during exam, we either do not remember the case laws or the citations. In this context, I would like to ask you how to deal with such situations and construct a presentable answer in the same.
So as I had constitution, which is a case law based subject, we all know. So I love case laws, so I try to remember them a lot. But once if you forget those case laws, I would say try and write an analysis part of your own from the particular either section or article. Okay, write an analysis part of your own because that gives an examiner an idea that yes, you know about that particular article or that particular section. You are not writing only what is written in the book, so that can help you a lot. So have your own analysis part, even if you add on to your answers, because that I'm saying from my own experience. If you add on a bit of analysis part in your answer, that is like a butter on the bread. So it is that kind of a thing served for the examiner because that is the thing which will make your copy different from others. So I feel to make an answer presentable, once you forget the citation or case laws, so then you can go for a bit of analysis portion, write the article first or section first, and then you go for a bit of analysis that you think you have an opinion for. So, yeah, that is.
Thank you, ma'am. This perspective is surely going to help all the aspirants. Now, ma'am, we want to know that how much time do one needs to devote to prepare for the exam, and how was your daily schedule in various stages of preparation for different subjects?
So from the beginning, because I already said I was doing my LLM, so daytime I had my college and my class scheduled and everything. So in the evening time, I used to study a bit, and first I tried on clear out my concepts because that is a very important thing I feel. But once this lockdown has started, I feel that lockdown, then I had to sit in my house, and then only I have devoted my whole time to the studies. But just after the notification came from the month of July, I have only taken breaks like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. But yeah, till evening I used to study, and after that I used to go for prelims question paper solve because that is the time I felt a bit relaxing. And then later on I used to do go for mains question paper also. I used to check whether I know the answers or not. As much as time you can give, that will pay you back, as that will I say. But yes, you must give your time because that is the thing only give you the most, because you have a very fixed time period to work.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this answer. This is surely going to help all of us. Ma'am, what were your strategies for the subject, for the compulsory subjects like contract, tort, transfer of property, etc.?
So first, I would say, as I have already said to you, that it's very important to clear out the concept. So do not, make a time constraint for your concept clearance, because if your concept is clear, you can write an answer. So you have to clear out your concept at any cost. Like that is the maximum thing you should do. But after that, I will say for this type of subjects, handwritten notes are the biggest thing. So your handwritten notes here is your authenticity, and that will help you a lot. That will help you throughout your pen memory for everything, because your handwritten notes is yours. So you own it, and that will give you back. So I feel you should prepare handwritten notes. But as I said, there are subjects which are vast in, course. They are vast, but they have a very less weightage in case of number. For example, CRPC and IPC, contract taught. But I felt, for example, contract. If you see, there are not much more questions on the theoretical basis. They have a bit of, I think, situational based questions. So those are the things you have to practice. So that you have to, because those are case law based from contract, that you will see in this kind of guidebooks and everything, but that you have to practice. But for other subject, you should have a very good handwritten notes for yourself, because the main thing which you face a problem is during the periods of mains. When you give the mains examination, that 10 days is a rigorous process. And that time you do not get a lot of thing to revise. So that time you should have something comprehensive for you to just go through the just before the exam. So I feel that is the thing you should follow.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as you said, one's handwritten notes are important. So, in this context, I would like to ask how to prepare original notes and how often one needs to practice answer writing.
So if you prepare your handwritten notes, that's one of the contribution to your answer writing. So if you prepare a handwritten notes, I believe in this a lot, that you have a pen memory. So once you start preparing a note, your pen starts to get that thing for you. So start writing down first. Obviously, make sure that you highlight your section on the very first thing of the note. That if you are writing, for example, take accomplished for from evidence, so you take section 133, you have to like highlight it, that yes, this is the, because that particular writing the correct section can bring you a good number of marks. Then you can write section 114 illustration B. You can also bring CRPC section 306. So that is the thing you have to have a conceptualize that how can my answer can be different from others and how that will help. So yes, that is the thing, handwritten notes. And handwritten notes is one thing which you have to prepare in a very comprehensive way. Either you write it down through points, do not describe it much if your concepts are clear, because that is the thing which will help you in the course of revision from just a month before the exam. So handwritten notes you can prepare like.
Thank you, ma'am. This is surely going to help all of us. Ma'am, how did you balance your social life while you were preparing for examination like judicial service?
So I am a very social animal because I have so many friends and everything. I totally understand this point of everyone, that like cutting out of friends and everything is a very tough thing when you have to concentrate on your like a goal that is such a big goal you have. So I feel that only thing is your self control, your self. Self assessment, that you have to be happy with yourself and your performance, that you have to analyze on your own, that whether I am giving enough time to my own goal, and whether I am working on the part of my success. So in my case, what happened is, because of this lockdown and the pandemic situation, my friends were only through mobile. But yes, mobile is another kind of big addiction in this period. So you have to cut off. Either you start keeping your phone away for 1 hour, for 2 hour, or try it using it as a break. So that helps a lot. I have tried it on my own, and you should have that kind of self control, that once you need it, you need it. Once you don't need it, you just keep it aside and you just work for yourself. So that is the thing will help you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, what an aspirant should do between the time between two mains paper, between the time of two mains paper?
So you are asking about this 2 hours which is
Yes,
there, right?
yes.
Yes. Okay. So that is a very crucial time because that is the time you get. So for example, the rigorous process of means it brings you back to back exams. So you do not get any day gap. So you have 2 exams in a day. You have written a lot for one, then you have to make your hand also okay for writing another 3 hours paper. So I feel during that 2 hours, obviously nobody is not going to revise. That cannot happen. People will sit with their books and new and also their notebooks. But I feel you should prepare yourself to switch from the subject that have already written to the other subject that you are going to write, because it might happen that you are not good in the past subject, but that shall not affect your next subject. That switching is very important. So in our case, we had, for example, IPC and CRPC question paper was too vast and people could not finish off their paper. So I felt ki that was not the time to think of it, because the next was evidence, which is another important subject. So that time you have to be prepared for the next one, because here each and every paper will give you some kind of opportunity to go ahead with your goal. So you do not regret, you should not think about the thing which has already happened. You should think about the one that is going to come, and surely you should do a bit of revise. And sometimes it becomes a bit more difficult, for example, for contract tort and TP Act in a same day. So that days are pretty tough. So you have to be mentally prepared also for that.
Thank you, ma'am. This is a great tip for all the aspirants who will be appearing for the coming examination. Now, I would like to ask you some questions relating to the interview. How to overcome the fear of speaking in an interview and the nervousness of facing an interview of this stretcher, and how one has to prepare for the interview.
So the nervousness will be there till the time you enter the room, because you know that you will be facing a high court judge, and there are there are people like PSC chairman. So yes, you will be having that kind of fear till the time you enter the room. But I can give you some tip which can help you to boost your confidence level. First, you must sit for mock interviews, which helps which helps tremendously to boost your confidence, and that's the reason I would like to thank sir, because he literally helped a lot for the mock interview process. And secondly, I would say try practicing in front of the mirror, because you can be the best judge of yourself. So once you are happy with your performance, because you can criticize yourself the way no one can. So you can see yourself, you practice in front of mirror. Try some common questions why you want to do judicial services. So these are the questions will be common, that you should always, like, either you sitting at a place, you should try to think up, if someone asks you that question suddenly, what will be your answer. So those are the things can help you a lot. And if it is about self confidence, yes, you need a lot of confidence. But once you enter the room, you get that confidence, they make you feel that level of comfort. And I feel you should be confident of yourself, because you have done a lot to come to the interview till interview.
Thank you, ma'am. This is indeed a very helpful tip for all of us. Ma'am, tell us about your overall interview experience and what questions were asked. Like what they are, what questions they asked you.
So my interview, I will say I was not happy with my interview. I felt it was a very bad interview. They asked me, there were very few questions from law, but most were, there were questions from maths also, from the PSC chairman. He asked me some maths question. Then they ask you about your family, like what your father do and what kind of, for example, my father is a ready-made garments person. So they asked me how can we develop the business. So how is it possible? What can I do to help him? And also the judge also asked you why you want to be a judicial officer, and what kind of contribution you can make to this service once you are already into PhD, so you can pursue academic. So that those are being asked to me. And yeah, law questions were very simple. First, it was something from res judicata and section 300 of CRPC relation, along with Article 22 of the Constitution. And yeah, when trial starts, these are the things, very basics and very simple questions from law. Most of the thing are like it's about you. So they ask. It's a personality test.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, my concluding question to you will be anything you didn't like about the judicial service exam, or what changes would you like to see in the exam from an aspirant's point of view?
Okay, when we sit for the exam, we start giving our prelims and everything. We think that this mains process should be made a bit more diluted. But after we clear that phase, then we understand why such process, why what is the importance of that process, because that process shapes you a lot, because you experience a whole lot of life throughout those 10 days. So I feel I wanted to change it, but right now I do not want to change that as well, because I feel that's very very good, and that should be the thing, because that shapes you up. And other than this, I don't think so I would like to change anything. But yes, that's it. The exam pattern is a bit more tough. So yeah, that is the thing.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering us with such a detailed discussion. I am sure the insights will be really helpful to all the judiciary aspirants who are matlab, preparing for this exam. Now, I would like to thank on behalf of all the judiciary aspirants to our beloved and respected Sir Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal for giving us this interactive session, which just boost our confidence, and they just help us to be better and more confident when we appear in our examination.
Thank you, Priyanka, for your insightful questions. Thank you, Piyu,
Thank
for
you.
your candid expression on the secret of your success. I'm sure through this frank interaction uh, between an aspirant and a successful candidate, the aspirants will be immensely benefited. Thank you, Piyu, for your time,
Thank you,
and thank you,
Priyanka.
Priyanka, for your insightful
Thank you,
questions.
sir.
Thank you.
So you may end the program now, Priyanka, with a vote of thanks.
Thank you. Sir, I cannot thank you enough for giving us such an opportunity to interact with a precious gem like Madam Piudas. I share the privilege with all the aspirants of the Judicial Service Examination, and I want to thank Sir and Madam again from the bottom of my heart for helping in every possible way and guiding us and mentoring students like us. Thank you.
Thank you.